Hi friends, recently based on conversation with other friends who are giving Scrum Master interviews, I came to know that nowadays they are getting 2-3 questions very frequently on Kanban. So I thought to create one dedicated video to cover all possible Kanban Scrum Master interview questions. In this video, I have covered beginners, intermediate, advanced Kanban topics. Also, I have included questions related with other important topics like Scrum Ban, Lean. This video may be going to be a little longer, but friends, please watch complete video. You never know which question interviewer may ask you. Hello friends, my name is Sunan Sharma. I am an agile consultant by profession, and if you are visiting our channel Career Talk first time, make sure you hit the subscribe button. When you subscribe to this channel, you will get 3 benefits. For your next Scrum Master interviews, you will be more confident after watching real world Scrum Master interview questions and answers from large multinational companies which I am posting regularly. You will learn more about different exams, certifications like PSM, CSM, PMI, ACP, Scaled Agile. You will learn a lot from videos on agile methodologies along with different frameworks like Scrum, Safe, Kanban. Every single week I will upload at least one video for you, so click on subscribe button right away and make sure you hit the bell icon to turn on the notification. At the end of the video, if you like my efforts, please hit like button. Your one like is big motivation for me. So friends, let's start top 50 Kanban Scrum Master interview questions and answers. Question number 1. What is Kanban? Kanban is a lean method to manage and improve work across human systems. This approach aims to manage work by balancing demands with available capacity and by improving the handling of system-level bottlenecks. Can means visual and ban means card, so Kanban refers to visual cards. Question number 2. What is Kanban board? A Kanban board is one of the tools that can be used to implement Kanban to manage work at personal or organizational level. Kanban board visually depict work at various stages of a process using cards to represent work items and columns to represent each stage of the process. Cards are moved from left to right to show progress and to help coordinate team performing the work. A Kanban board may be divided into horizontal swim lanes representing different kind of work or different teams performing the work. The basic board is composed of 3 columns: to do, doing and done. Question number 3. Difference between Scrum and Kanban. Scrum limits work in progress per iteration compared to Kanban, which limits work in progress per workflow state. Scrum board is always owned by one Scrum team and typically run by a leader called a Scrum Master, whereas Kanban board does not need to be owned by a specific team since it is mostly devoted to a workflow. A product owner cannot edit the Scrum board if the team has committed to a number of items for the sprint, whereas Kanban can be edited by a product owner. In Scrum, prioritization is a must, whereas Kanban does not use a prioritization or estimation scheme, but consider project planning using probabilistic forecasting. Scrum is using a velocity as a primary metric, whereas Kanban lead times measure the cycle time for the issues. Question number 4. What are core principles of Kanban? Principle number 1. Start with what you do now. Principle number 2. Agree to pursue incremental evolutionary change. Principle 3. Respect the current process, roles and responsibilities. Principle 4. Encourage act of leadership at all levels. Question number 5. What are different types of Kanban based on usage? There are 6 types of different Kanban based of usage. First is production Kanban, withdrawal Kanban, emergency Kanban, throw Kanban, express Kanban and a supplier Kanban. Question number 6. What is power-ups in Kanban? Power-ups let you customize your boards and fine-tune your experience with Kanban tool. Question number 7. Different types of power-ups in Kanban. There are different types of power-up in Kanban like card block, card aging, developer tools, team activity wizard, task navigator, auto assign, add task box, calendar widget, web attachment. Question number 8. In what kind of scenarios you use Kanban? This is most important question, friends. So at the heart of Kanban is just-in-time JAT, which means only what is needed when it is needed and in the amount needed. Kanban is in general better suited to a scenarios where you need a team that continually delivers value to the customers and you don't want or can afford to wait a sprint to finish for that to happen. If we are working in a very dynamic environment where scope or priorities change very often, for example, a beginning of the project, maintenance, critical hotfixes in the production, we can use Kanban in place of Scrum. Question number 9. Important matrices reports in Kanban. Before going to the important matrices, let's think about what is lead time and a cycle time. So lead times, this tells you how much time it will take to finish the task after it is received from the customer. And cycle time, this is the time required to complete a certain task after the developers start work on it. So important matrices are control chart. So a control chart report help the team to keep track of the cycle time for each of the issues plus the rolling average lead time for the set of issues in the development process. And the other important matrix is the cumulative flow chart. Shows an aggregated view of your project cards which are arranged in following three categories: planned, working on and done. Question number 10. How do teams plan release in Kanban? Again, very important question, friends. In Kanban, estimation of item duration is optional. After one item is complete, the team members simply pull the next item from the backlog and process with implementing it. Some teams still choose to carry out the estimation in order to have more predictability. Alternative approach to achieve predictability is to make sure that each of the items is of the same size and therefore can be completed in the same amount of time. This can be done by adopt using story slicing. Question number 11. What is swim lanes in Kanban? A swim lane is a horizontal categorization of issues on a Kanban board. Kanban swim lanes are used to separate work of different nature, and how you are going to apply them depend on the specificity of your workflow. Question number 12. Different types of Kanban swim lanes. There are followings: individuals, team, client, repetitive task, classes of services, company level lanes, and discarded options. Question number 13. What is throughput in Kanban? So throughput is about performance. Throughput is based on actual data to represent the number of cards delivered in a given periodic of time on a specific Kanban board. This metric will provide the team represented on a Kanban board a way to track their performance over time. Question number 14. What is Kanban WIP? WIP stands for work in progress. It represents the total number of tasks being worked on at the same time, whether by a team or an individual. Kanban WIP helps prevent work overload and improve workflows. Question number 15. Why is too much WIP a problem? Having too much work in progress confuse priorities, cause frequent context switching, and increase overhead. It overloads people, scatter focus on immediate tasks, reduce productivity and throughput, and increase wait time for new functionality. Question number 16. How does Kanban calculate WIP limits? So it's a 5-step process. Map your value stream, value added versus non-value added, calculate the efficiency of your board, number of total tasks on the board, and WIP limit for each column. What is a good WIP limit? If WIP limits are being applied across the team, a good starting place is the number of team members plus 1. So if you have 10 members working on a board, implement a WIP limit of 11 as a starting point. Question number 18. Does Kanban having sprint planning? And the answer is sprint planning with Kanban is called flow-based sprint planning. Question number 19. Who owns the Kanban board? Scrum board is always owned by one Scrum team. Kanban board does not need to be owned by a specific team since it's mostly devoted to a workflow. Question number 20. What is not inferred from Kanban board? It does not include activities which are a waste and are not required. It works through the maximum potential of the team and is able to deliver results fast due to short cycle time. Question number 21. What is Kanban roadmap? Kanban roadmaps mean directions, not details. Instead, think directions like goals, strategies, and themes should form the basis of your Kanban roadmap. Think about where do you want your company to be after 1 year. The Kanban roadmap contains the answer to the questions of that level. Question number 22. What are two types of Kanban cards? The two most important types of Kanban cards are production Kanban and a transportation Kanban. A P Kanban, when received, authorizes the workstation to produce a fixed amount of products. A T Kanban authorizes the transportation of the full container to the downstream workstation. Question number 25. What is Kanban post? A location where Kanban signals reside for pickup, often used with two card system to exchange withdrawal and production Kanban, sequenced pull. Question number 24. How do Kanban cards work? The Kanban cards quickly evolved into a visual artifact that track a work item as it flows through a workflow. At its core, the Kanban card encourages teamwork by helping team members communicate and share information visually. Kanban cards allow team to view important details about work item at a glance. Question number 25. Is Kanban a lean tool? Kanban is one of the lean tools designed to reduce the idle time in a production process. The main idea behind the Kanban system is to deliver what the process needs exactly when it needs it. Question number 26. Does Kanban have daily stand-ups? There is no document or a stand-up that defines what is Kanban stand-up. It's something a Kanban team may choose to do if they feel it will help them to optimize their flow. Importantly, Kanban's team don't have to run a daily stand-up if they feel it won't help. Friends, we have reached half of the video and I'm sure you have learned something new today. For more such videos, please subscribe, please press bell icon so you will get notification as I'm in progress for creating more real-world Scrum Master interview videos. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 27. Is Kanban push or pull? A key indicator of the success of production scheduling based on demand pushing is the ability of the demand forecast to create such a push. Kanban, by contrast, is a part of an approach where the pull comes from the demand and the products are made to order. Question number 28. Does Kanban use story points? Kanban does not require something like a story point in estimates. Depending on the maturity of your team, you may need to use estimation until you feel that stories are written in a consistent manner that the size is usually the same. Most teams will need to estimate what is in the backlog. Question number 29. Does Kanban have Scrum Master? The whole team owns the Kanban board. Some teams enlist an agile coach, but unlike Scrum, there is no single Kanban master who keeps everything running smoothly. It is the collective responsibility of the entire team to collaborate on and deliver the task on the board. Question number 30. Give examples to show the use of Kanban pull. A pull system is a lean technique that is used to control the flow of work by only replacing what has been consumed. Example, a vending machine. Products will only be refilled when the stocks have run out. The supplier won't overstock the vending machine because each lane has a separate capacity. If there is no demand for the product, then they won't refill it. Question number 31. What are the characteristics of the Kanban pull method? The pull approach enables resources to complete the task at hand before a new task is taken up. Optimizing lead time, cycle time result in a faster delivery. Visualization of the workflow with Kanban board draw immediate attention to any bottleneck that can be resolved immediately. Question number 32. Which opportunity is related to the Kanban pull system? Team members can focus on the right task at the right time while reducing wasted time or effort. Kanban control system can significantly increase productivity and speed up task delivery. Project managers can control resources, adapt to changes in a project, and mitigate risk. Question number 33. Does Kanban have user stories? Yes. Kanban uses user stories. Of course, it's used them in a particular way. Unlike other agile methodologies, user stories consist of the basis of the project's task in Kanban. In Kanban, the developer cannot prioritize the product backlog according to their opinion. Question number 34. How does Kanban reduce inventory? A Kanban system allows a company to reduce inventory levels, which reduce the cost associated with stocking and storing materials in organization. Companies that use a Kanban system in a lean environment allow actual customer demand to determine the need for material and not forecast of the demand. Question number 35. What are types of MUDA? The answer is overproduction, waiting, transportation, overprocessing, movement, inventory, making defective parts, unused skills and knowledge. MUDA is like a waste, kind of waste. Question number 36. What is MTTR formula? The MTTR formula is calculated by dividing the total unplanned maintenance time spent on an asset by the total number of failures that asset experiences over a specific period. Mean time to repair is most commonly represented in hours. The MTTR calculation assumes that tasks are performed sequentially. Question number 37. Why Kanban is bad? In Kanban, you should be committed to keeping the board clear and up to date. Otherwise, there might be a lot of confusion in work. Once the board gets messy or overcomplicated, using Kanban may become a very negative and discouraging experience. Question number 38. What are 3 C's in user story? The 3 C's are card, conversation, confirmation of user story. Question number 39. How is Kanban size calculated? We have a lot of factors like we have DD, daily demand, we have LT, we have SS, statistically calculated safety, stock, we have SQRT, square root, we have TB, time bucket of the safety stock data points, we have KB, quantity per Kanban, we have EPEI, suppliers, every product, every interval. Question number 40. What are Kanban numbers? The number of Kanban you need to have in the circuit between downstream and upstream is a simple calculation. It works both for production and move Kanban. Number of Kanban equal to DD multiplied by LT multiplied by 1 plus percentage of SS divided by Q. DD is a daily demand and LT is a lead time in days. Question number 41. How do you calculate work content? The average duration is known as work content. The work content is the sum of the average duration of all lines activities that can be carried out in a line segment or in a work area. So the work content corresponds to the average time for which the tact of the line element are occupied. Question number 42. What are the lean principles? There are 5 key lean principles: value, value streams, flow, pull, and perfection. Question number 43. What are the 5 S of Lean Six Sigma? The 5 S are sort, set, shine, standardize, and sustain. Question number 44. What is MTBF formula? Mean time between failure is a metric that concerns the average time elapsed between a failure and the next time it occurred. To calculate MTBF, divide the total number of operational hours in a period by the number of failures that occurred in that period. MTBF is usually measured in hours. MTF equal to number of operational hours divided by number of failures. Question number 45. What is Scrum-Ban? Scrum-Ban is an agile management methodology describing hybrids of Scrum and Kanban and was originally designed as a way to transition from Scrum to Kanban. In Scrumban, the teamwork is organized in small iterations and monitored with the help of a visual board similar to Scrum and Kanban boards. Question number 46. What is feature freeze? Feature freeze is used in Scrumban when the project deadline is approaching. It means that only the features that the team already has for development can still be worked on and no additional features can be added. Question number 47. What is trials? Trials usually happens right after feature freeze. With an approaching project deadline, the project manager decides which of the in-development features will be completed and which will stay unfinished. This guarantees that the team can focus on finishing important features before the project deadline and forget the less important one. Question number 48. What is bucket sizing planning? Bucket size planning brings the possibility of long-term planning to Scrumban. It is based on the system of 3 buckets that the work item need to go through before making it on the Scrumban board. The 3 buckets represent 3 different stages of the plan and are usually called 1 year, 6 months and 3 months buckets. Question number 49. How we do on-demand planning in Scrumban? The planning in Scrumban is based on demand and occurs only when the planning trigger goes off. The planning trigger is associated with the number of tasks left in the to-do section of the board. When it goes down to a certain number, the planning event is held. The number of tasks that should trigger a planning event is not predefined. It depends on a team velocity, how quickly it can finish the remaining tasks, and on the time required to plan the next iteration. The tasks planned for the next iteration are added to the to-do section of the board. Question number 50. How long are iterations in Scrumban? Work iterations in Scrumban are kept short. This ensures that a team can easily adapt and change their course of action to a quickly changing environment. The length of the iteration is measured in weeks. The ideal length of an iteration depends on the work process of each team and it is recommended not to have iteration exceeding 2 weeks. Velocity is often used by the team to assess issues and trends in its throughput in order to support continuous improvement. Friends, thank you for watching this video. I am sure you have learned something new today.